Hi yogis, welcome back with Nicholas. We are going to be doing a beginner flow, about maybe 30 to 40 minutes or so. It's the time we're heading for. We're going to be using a block if you want to incorporate that into your practice, as well as a strap. If you don't have one, you can always incorporate a belt as an alternative, just to maybe help you. We're going to be coming into a monkey pose in the flow, so that's genuinely an area where someone might want to use a strap in their practice. Otherwise, yeah, we can maybe just take a brief moment to come to seated. We can just arrive here for a moment. We'll try and keep the introduction relatively short and just close the eyes for a moment. Maybe just taking a few nice full breaths, maybe going for 3 or 4 deep breaths. We can breathe in all the way and allowing a little release out through the mouth, followed by maybe a little sigh if that feels good for you. Breathing in and out. Let's go for one more of those. Breathing in all the way and out. Good, maybe feeling just a little bit more here. When you're ready, we can open up our eyes. We're going to start off in a tabletop position. We're going to just bring some movement to the spine in our cat-cow flow. So when you're ready, breathing in, we arcing the spine down, maybe taking your gaze forward a bit. And then on your exhale, pressing into the hands, tucking the tailbone, rounding through the spine. And just repeating for a few repetitions. On your inhale, arcing down, and on your exhale, rounding through, pressing your hands into the mat. And you can go at whatever pace feels good for you. However fast or slow, deep you want to breathe, and exhale. Going for one more round, final exhale, rounding through. Good, maybe we bring a little bit of a more spontaneous movement through the spine, through the hips and shoulders. You're welcome to even close your eyes for a moment. Not thinking too much about what you're doing, just allowing the body to move naturally. Good. And then from there we're going to find a little puppy pose, just opening up through the chest and shoulders, trying to keep the hips above your knees, extending your arms out. Maybe focusing on drawing the chest down towards the mat. You can always position a block underneath your head if you like. We're just taking a few conscious breaths into the pectoral muscles or into the front of the shoulders. Last full breath in and out. Good, and at the end of that last exhale, we can work our way up onto our knees. Maybe we just give the arms a little shake out. Maybe around and back. And when you're ready, we can work our way up into our first downward dog for the class, working your way onto your hands and feet. You're welcome to pedal out through the legs a little bit if you want to open up through the back of the legs. And when you are ready, we are going to find our way into our first downward dog, or more static hold of our downward dog, focusing on widening your fingers, pressing your palms into the mat, lengthening through your arms, creating this triangular shape, with the body elevating up through the hips, relaxing your head, breathing in. Taking a nice full breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to walk the feet forward to the front of the mat. We're going to breathe into a little halfway lift, lifting up through the chest, lengthening through spine. Exhale, relaxing your head, rounding through the back. Repeating, inhale, lift. Exhale, folding forward and down. Okay, we can just relax here, chill here for a little bit. You're welcome to bend your legs as much as you need to. You can Find maybe even a little bind behind your legs if you like, or even interlacing the hands or binding the hands to the elbows if that feels good for you, whatever you like. We're going to find a little twist variation here with your left arm down, really bending that left leg, lengthening through your right, opening up through that right arm. Maybe even taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. Last breath in. Exhale, releasing, changing over to the other side. Right hand down, bending that right leg, lengthening through your left leg, opening up through that left arm. Maybe even working your gaze up towards your fingertips. Last breath in here. Exhale, we are releasing into our forward fold, folding forward and down. And on that next inhale, just rolling your way up to a standing position. We're going to find a little high mountain. We're breathing in, reaching the arms up. Exhale, we can take a little side bend over to the right. Trying to keep your shoulders in line with your hips. Breathing into center. Exhaling over to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, we're releasing palms by side. We're going to take our little flow back to our downward dog. We're going to breathe into our high mountain, lengthening through the legs, spine and arms, and on your exhale, rounding forward and through into your full halfway lift in. Exhale, we're taking that first vinyasa, either stepping or hopping the feet back into your chaturanga on that same exhale. Inhale into that upward dog, drawing the hips down, lengthening through your arms. On your exhale, back to your downward dog. Taking a breath for 2 here. We are breathing into a three-legged dog, lifting your right leg up. Exhale, we're stepping right foot forward into crescent lunge. Lifting up through the arms, bending that front leg. Finding a little focal point. And finding you're keeping your left leg engaged and active. Finding a little twist to the right. Your left arm is back. Your left arm is forward. And we are revolving this position, taking that right arm down and back, left arm lifted, breathing in. And then exhale, squaring forward. We can shuffle that back foot a little bit more forward into our pyramid pose, folding forward and down. You can incorporate your block. Here, if you would like some support under that left hand. Finding whatever height you want to be at, either more propped up on the thigh or maybe feeling a little bit more open. That back heel can either be planted on the mat at a 45-degree angle, or you can have that back heel lifted. We're going to try and revolve this pyramid. If you've got your block handy, you can position your left hand on that block to the inside of your right ankle. And we are twisting open, lifting up through that right arm. Maybe even working your gaze up towards that right fingertip. If you don't have a block, we can always just come a little bit higher up with that left hand on the shin or thigh, or maybe you're comfortable working your way a little bit lower down into that revolved triangle. Okay, we've been there for quite a while. We're going to square forward, bending that front leg into a warrior 3 prep. Coming to balance on that right leg, lifting that left leg up nice and high, finding some length in the spine and some lift in the chest. Actively lifting that back leg up nice and high. Last breath in. Exhale, we're going to step that left foot down into a chair pose, sitting those hips down, extending arms up and over the head. Can you try and get your thighs almost parallel to the floor? You're almost leaning forward a touch with the chest, trying to get the shoulders almost above your knees. And can you try and keep your knees above your ankles as best you can? Last breath in. Exhale, we're folding forward and down. Enjoying this forward fold for 2 or so breaths. On your next inhale, rolling up to standing into a high mountain, reaching those arms up nice and high. On your next exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, we're folding forward and down. Halfway lift in. Exhale, we're planting those hands down, stepping the feet back, taking that vinyasa to your downward dog. Moving with your breath, your rhythm, your pace. Holding your downward dog for 2 or so breaths. Left leg up on your next inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, stepping left foot forward into crescent lunge. Lifting up through the arms, finding your focal point. Bending that front leg, keeping your back leg nice and engaged. And we're working into that twist to the left. And even revolving that twist, taking that left arm back, opening up, or lifting up through that right arm as you breathe in. Exhale, we're squaring forward into that pyramid pose, either with or without the block, whatever you want to do. And maybe even trying to actively square that left hip with the right, drawing that left leg back as you fold forward and down here, enjoying this pose for a few breaths. Good, from there we're revolving that position, either incorporating your block or not. That back heel can lift up off the ground to allow that twist to be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe even working your gaze up towards your left fingertips. And we are releasing from there, squaring forward, coming to balance on that left leg into that warrior 3 prep. Engaging that right leg up nice and high, finding that lift in the chest. And can you square that right hip down to the floor, or almost drawing that right hip square with the floor. Last breath in. Exhale, we're planting right foot down into that chair pose. Extending those arms up and over the head, sitting the hips nice and deep. Holding here, breathing here, finding your focal point. Last breath in. Exhale, we are folding forward and down. Enjoying this for a few moments. Taking a breath or two here, relaxing your head, relaxing your spine. And we are rolling up on your next inhale, up to a high mountain, breathing and reaching up. Exhale, releasing arms down by side, mountain pose. Good. From there, we're going to work our way back into a chair pose, sitting the hips down. And from our chair, we're going to work into a little twist variation. So bringing your palms to center, placing your left elbow onto your right outer thigh, pressing and twisting into this position. Maybe you feel comfortable to even extend the arms open here. If you want to give that a practice, maybe even gazing up towards your right fingertips. Good, from there we are coming back down to center, back into almost just a squared position and finding our warrior 3 prep once again. Balancing on your right leg, lifting left. And now we're going to practice that warrior 3. Can we even work off the hands? Trying to get the spine parallel to the floor, that back leg nicely lifted. You can either take an airplane arm variation, palms to center, or extending arms overhead, whatever is comfortable for you. From there, nice controlled step back. How slow can you step back into a warrior 2, opening up through that left hip, extending your arms out, taking your gaze past your right fingertips, keeping your shoulders above your hips. We are reversing this warrior 2, breathing in, taking that right arm up. Exhale, coming down into a side angle. You can plant your right elbow onto your right thigh and extending that left arm overhead. We're trying to keep that left shoulder drawn open. And your left arm is an extension of your left side body and your left leg. You can experiment here if you're feeling a bit open or a little bit more open. You can maybe feel into dropping that right hand a little bit lower. Seeing that this is a more beginner class, maybe you're happier just keeping it right elbow on right side. Good, from there we're going to find our way down, dropping both hands to the inside of that right foot. You're wiggling your right foot out to the right side of the mat. Trying to keep your right knee above your right ankle as best you can. Maybe bringing a little bit of movement here, if that feels good for your body. And when you are ready, we can drop down that left knee. And it's up to you how wide of a stance you take with your feet. So the further, or your legs rather, the further back your left leg is, the deeper the sensation is going to be, or the deeper the stretch is going to be. You can either stay on your hands and fingertips, or if you want to incorporate your block, maybe you want to drop your left elbow down a little bit lower. Maybe you're feeling more open, and you can play around with the height at which you want to place your block, or maybe you can even get your elbows down to the floor, wherever you are in your practice. We are holding here for a few moments. Very important just to listen to your body and where your limit is. The inner thigh can be quite a sensitive or fragile muscle, so we don't want to pull this muscle. Just be mindful. From there, we're going to work our way back up. We're going to maybe just wiggle that front foot a little bit more to center, more in line with your right hip. And we're going to work into that monkey pose that I mentioned earlier. So getting into this position, it helps maybe shuffling that back leg a little bit closer, because we're going to be lifting that left foot up and reaching back with the right hand to that left foot, right? And then from there, we can maybe shuffle that front foot a little bit further away forward, and enabling us to press the pelvis a little bit more deep and forward, and opening up through that right shoulder. If you're struggling to find that bind, we can incorporate our strap or our belt. I find it quite easy or handy to make a bit of a loop with the strap, and you can almost lift the foot up and like hook or catch the foot with the loop, and then wiggle forward with your right foot, and then that will help you draw that foot up as we find that deep quad stretch. Alright, and just holding here wherever you are. It's part of the body. We don't often focus on stretching. Often we're very focused on stretching the back of the legs, the hamstrings all the time. So it's nice to take some time out for the quads, give them some attention too. Alright, we're going to drop the foot from there, and we're basically going to just be stepping that right leg back into our plank. We're going to be holding a nice strong plank for a moment. You can either stay on your feet or drop down to your knees at any point you feel like you need to. We are either holding here, staying here, keeping your shoulders above your wrists, and trying to keep your hips engaged and in line with your ribcage. You can either hold here and stay here in your plank, or you can join me for chaturanga. We can breathe into our plank as we are here, and then exhale, bending the elbows down, trying to align your shoulders with your elbows, and your elbows in line or tucked into your ribcage as best you can, and then a nice strong press back up into your plank. You can always do that on your knees too, as well, developing that strength to eventually do it on your feet. Alright, and then from there we're taking that vinyasa back to your downward dog, however you want to get there. Moving with your breath, your slow. Taking one more full breath here into your downward dog. And on your next exhale, we can walk or step or hop, feet forward to the front. We're going to breathe in for a little halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward and down. Maybe we'll just chill out here for a little bit. enjoying another breath. Finding whatever variation on your forward fold is good for you. And when you're ready, we're going to roll our way back up to a standing position. Finding our way into our chair pose. Once again, lift those hips down. Extend the arms up, getting those hips nice and low. Find your focal point, holding here. And then from here, we're going to find palms to center into that twist. You're taking that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh, opening up through that left shoulder. And maybe you want to practice like you did on the other side, opening up through the hands, if this is what you did previously. And maybe even working your gaze up towards your left fingertips. Palms back to center. We are squaring forward and down into that warrior three prep, lifting up through that right leg, coming to balance on that left. Getting yourself ready for that balance, for that warrior three, finding maybe a full balance on that left leg. Even if it's just for a second or two, giving it your best effort, you can always work your way up and down. And that's finding that warrior three, whatever variation. And then from there, we're taking a nice controlled step back into our warrior two, opening up through that right hip, your back foot at 90 degrees, aligning your front heel with the middle of your back foot. Taking your gaze past your left fingertips for just a moment. And we are reversing this position, lifting that left arm up, breathing in. Exhale into that side angle extension. Left elbow can come onto that left thigh, and we're extending that right arm overhead. Your right arm is an extension of your right side body, your right leg. Creating that nice, almost 45-degree or just diagonal line running down that right side. Good. From there, we're releasing both hands down, wiggling that left foot out to the left side of the mat. Into that lizard lunge. You can bring a little bit of movement here. Trying to keep that left knee above your left ankle. And then when you are ready, we can drop that right knee down. And like we did on the other side, trying to find where's a good position for you. Maybe you feel like you need to maybe wiggle that back leg a little closer if the stretch is too intense. Or maybe you're happy taking it further back. And maybe you want to drop down onto your block. Coming a little bit deeper into the position or a little bit lower. Just listening to where is a good stretch for you to breathe into and hold for a few moments. Nice. From there, we're going to just work our way back up. And we are going to be coming into that monkey pose. So we're going to be just shuffling that front foot a little bit more to, in line with your left hip again. You can always work that back leg a little bit closer to help you bind your left hand to your right foot, or you want to use the strap. Once you've got your bind, maybe wiggling that front foot a little bit more forward, pressing the pelvis forward, and opening up through that left side, left chest, left shoulder. Enjoying a few moments here in this good flexor stretch, quad stretch. Good. From there, we're going to release into a low lunge, stepping that left foot back, finding that plank. Once again, nice and strong, either on your feet or on your knees, shoulders in alignment with your wrists, keeping your core engaged with hips in line with your ribcage. You are either holding here, or you can join me for that chaturanga if you want to go for it. Breathing into your plank, exhale, calming down, maybe holding, challenging yourself for a moment, holding here for 3, 2, and 1, pressing back up. into that plank. And when you're ready, we can take that vinyasa back to your downward dog, however you want to get there. Relaxing your head, taking a few more breaths here. This is our last downward dog for the class, so maybe make the most of it, really enjoy it. And then from here, on your next exhale, we're going to just walk the feet forward, finding a Madhasana squat. I'm quite tall, so I like to have a wide stance with my feet. Feel into how wide of a stance you want to stand. I have my feet relatively quite open, almost at like 45-degree angle. And from here, we are sitting the hips down. I'm wedging my elbows in between my knees or thighs with my palms to center. And we're trying to find some lift or posture in the spine. Almost trying to stack the shoulders above the hips as best we can. Good. If you are struggling to get your heels flat on the floor, we can always just prop ourselves up a little bit higher, almost into more of an active squat. And over time, as your ankles open up more and more, we can get those hips a little bit deeper. And you can also experiment with widening your feet more, widening your stance more. You'll notice that will help you get those hips maybe a little bit lower whilst keeping your heels flat. This is a good one to come into and practice on a daily basis if you can, especially if you're sitting a lot of the time, spending a lot of the day sitting down at a desk, or generally a seated position tightens up the hips a lot. This is a great way to work the lower back and the hips as well as the knees and ankles. Alright, from there we can just gently work our way down to a seated position. And we're going to find a little lying down position, finding our last pose being a happy baby pose. We can grab the outside edges of the feet. So I've got my arms on the inside of my legs, and I'm binding or grabbing the outside edges of my feet, trying to relax your head and your shoulders down as best you can. And I've almost got my shins vertical, pointing up towards the sky or ceiling. And with your legs apart, feet apart to whatever extent feels manageable. Maybe you'd like to close the eyes for a few moments as we hold and breathe here. Maybe even scanning through the body, noticing where there's signs of tension, where the jaw is slightly tight or clenched. Maybe your shoulders also a little bit hunched up. Can we try and just soften and let go into the pose as much as you can, allowing your breath to be a tool to help you along the way. Last 2 breaths here. Taking nice full breaths into your diaphragm, expanding through the belly, through the base of your spine. Okay, and at the end of that last exhale, you can just gently release the feet down, extend the legs out into our Savasana. Our well-deserved Savasana. We can just find a corpse pose or lying down position with your palms by your side, facing up towards the sky or the ceiling. And just allowing your eyes to close, allowing your face to relax, your shoulders to sink down, your spine to sink down into the mat or the earth. Just feeling fully supported here. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. You can just embrace some stillness and allow your body to just register all that we've done in this class today. Great. I'm going to really encourage you to stay for a good 5 minutes if you can, if you've got the time, which I'm sure you will. I'm sure you've got 5 minutes to just take it easy here. You can just enjoy this Shavasana. And I'm going to end the video here. But you take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Namaste.